Another add on to the theme of losing freedom and liberty. Um, the whole body autonomy thing. And you would think people would be catching on to this. Like in the other one, I should have mentioned that you'll notice simultaneously they came up with the whole kill switch idea. All of a sudden, they start turning up about this insurance thing. And it's really not that far from the cash for clunkers thing. If you'll stand back and watch, you'll see what direction they're pushing you. The direction you're heading rather than where you are right now. Now, if you look at the body autonomy thing, I don't know why people didn't catch on. About the time they really started going after abortion rights again, here comes this vaccine thing. And you got, these people are not catching on. You got the bootlickers on both sides. They're saying only part of it. Like, I've seen the same meme, my body, my choice. And you would have, like, say, a pro-abortion person, a pro-choice person. And they would be saying that about making fun of the conservative because the conservative didn't want to get the shots. A lot of conservatives did, too, which is strangely enough. But they won't catch on that the system is playing both of them off against one another. They even used some of the same memes and just kind of redirected the words and still didn't catch on. But that's what this whole passport thing is. Because let's follow this out. If you think, here's my stance. Let me just say this. I'm not thrilled about the idea of abortion. But I think the only way that it can be is you have to be pro-choice. It's not your affair. It's not. No matter how much you dislike it, no matter how much you're against it, you cannot be against it, against somebody's right to do it. It's just the way it is. It's going too far. It's overstepping. It's, you might argue that's an individual all you want to, but it's in somebody else's body, and you do not have, nobody has jurisdiction over it. It's somebody's own body. And that's what goes in and what comes out and everything else. You got to be consistent on that. But let's follow this out, because I just saw something here recently. It's what inspired this particularly. And I'll look it up. Again, I don't like to misquote this politician. Of course, you don't get any answers. It's like the whole gender thing. When somebody says male or female, it's just one or the other. And it's all got to do with genitalia. And then you say, well, what's a hermaphrodite or a person born with neither? And they never answer. I've asked that question dozens of times, and I've never gotten an answer. Not once. Not even close. Not an attempt. So it's going to be that same sort of thing. I'm not going to get an answer on that. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to go on my notifications here, because somebody did comment on that, and they'll get me back there a little quicker. There we go. Texas Family Project. Abortion is murder, therefore should be prosecuted as such. And my question was, so every miscarriage should be investigated as a potential murder? I mean, it's logically speaking, right? Because let's follow this out. I think it might have been Ron Paul or somebody that said that, I don't remember who said it. It might not have been them. I don't want to misquote. But if you outlaw abortions, you only outlaw the legal ones, the professional ones. That's all you're doing. People are still going to, there's ways people got abortions before it was legal. So then that would be murder, right? Okay. Let's go a step farther. They're going to have to get sneakier, aren't they? So you've gotten rid of the whole doctor thing. You're going after the home thing that's obvious. Homemade abortions. Okay. Okay, so they're going to have to get sneakier. So again, every miscarriage, every pregnancy that doesn't go to term, every time somebody has a child and something's not quite right about that child, there has to be an investigation. Logic. So if that's true, I mean, you've got to get ahead of it. So that would mean you would need to know when any females are pregnant, because the easiest way for them to terminate the pregnancy without anybody knowing is if nobody ever knows they're pregnant. So you're going to have to watch them. You're going to have to know somehow. So that gets people into somebody's medical profile. You're going to have to know about it. And then you think back about those vaccine passport things that they were calling them, which is a gaslighting, because that was a lot more than that. Your entire medical status and history, just easily accessible. So they can just find that out about you. Just that simple. So then they can monitor you. And if anything happens, well, think about what this is going to mean. Somebody has a miscarriage. They have to investigate everything. They may have done something. And what if they deliberately did something to cause that pregnant? Maybe they didn't want that child after all. So there's got to be this investigation. And you think about this for a second, too. Because as wild as this sounds, this is the direction we're heading. This scenario could happen. You could have, because these same people that are so quick to send somebody to prison for life or execute them or anything else, they're also pretty big on charging people as adults who aren't. So you could have a minor of some age, female, and she gets assaulted and she becomes pregnant from that. Well, let's throw even another curve in there, that this girl is the type, she's very young, but she's going to keep the child. She's going to keep the pregnancy. She's going to have that child. Well, she's going along and she has a miscarriage. Let's say pretty late into it, has a miscarriage. She could get investigated. Now think about it for a second. Because she didn't want this pregnancy to begin with, not the way it happened. And it sounded like she wanted, but that always happens. You know, anytime you have a parent that removes their child from a census, that part of their act is that they love their child, right? And it's happened fairly often, unfortunately. So who'd be the most likely suspect? She's got all kinds of motive, right? You could have an underage SA victim who wanted the pregnancy, who did not even want to terminate the pregnancy, get charged as an adult for murder and then executed. All that is possible through this right-wing nonsense. Why is it not? And here's what I think is funny, too. Should pregnant women be allowed to drive? Well, keep in mind, it's a baby, right? It's a baby. You can't drive and have a baby like right here, can you? So how can they drive with a pregnant belly there? Maybe they're trying to lose the pregnancy. Better watch them. Better watch them all the time. What if you accidentally smoke around a pregnant woman? How many people just happen to encounter a pregnant woman during the day are going to get nailed for reckless endangerment? How often is she going to be? Because it's like having a baby, right? It's just a baby. It won't hold water. It's nonsense. Here's a good question, too. A lot of factories, you're not allowed to even be back there in the factory if you're less than 18. Okay, then why is a pregnant woman allowed back there? She's made to come back to work until a certain time. God knows America don't allow too much of it for much as they try to pretend to care about children. So you're going to make a woman carry her baby back there in that factory. Maybe you're endangering that woman, factory. This won't hold up. It falls apart every single direction. It's not even going to benefit the capitalist. And it just shows you that a lot of these right-wingers only see women as broodmares. They don't mind knocking one off if the pregnancy ends, even if they didn't intentionally do it. It means she's not a good breeder. Get rid of her. And keep in mind, too, and you need to remember this. All these politicians, especially if they're big on funding Israel, they're pro-abortion. Don't let them lie to you. They're pro-abortion. You know where you can get an abortion? Israel. Any one of these politicians can take one of their underage victims, fly them over to Israel, get an abortion, and done. And we're funding them so they can do that. Isn't that funny? So here's the way it has to work. It's called body autonomy. Leave people alone with their own bodies. Period. Simple as that. Let them eat, drink, do whatever they want with their own bodies. You don't have to agree with it. And yes, if somebody's pregnant, it's still their body. So you got to be consistent about this too. You can't make somebody have certain shots. Goes both ways. They should have them. It's not some kind of anti-vax statement. It's just simple logic. Now you could make them certain facilities or something like that. They could call for it. You could make that argument. I would even go so far as to say that certain facilities would have the right to tell somebody not to bring in their gun or something like that. I've never seen a place do that, but I could see it's reasonable. Because that's their own place. That's their own, they can front load it. Be honest about it. So that's just another thing to think about. That's another bit of liberty and freedom that we're losing. And people are signing it away. As long as it hurts those people instead of these people. Can't believe how gullible people have gotten.